Welcome to the new Arab world. Welcome to a region that is very much changed from the one we knew when we last met. This world, our world, is dynamic. It is demanding and it is ambitious. It is fueled by passion and it is empowered by technology. It is creative, it is hopeful, and it is not going back to the isolation of the past. Of course, merely using social media tools cannot guarantee that people will listen to what any of us has to say. We must still have something relevant and worthwhile to communicate. Indeed, the last thing the Arab world needs is more white noise. In business and in life, our Arab world is crying out for meaningful and rewarding conversations, and we all have our parts to play in making sure they happen. Finding a voice has never been easier, but getting heard can still be challenging. Social media can be a great equalizer for those who embrace it, and we must ensure that everyone has the means to access it. Influential conversations are on the horizon, and influential people are yet to communicate. But we must never forget that the most important part of conversing is listening. Diverse worlds are colliding, and an astounding array of connections are being made as opportunities arise for mutual exchange between Arabs and the wider world. The extraordinary immediacy of this new technology has built a framework for following and analysing developments as never before. The convergence of ICT and media technologies is certainly empowering more of our people. A prime example of this is satellite channels and their social media spin-offs, taking women and young people seriously as target audiences. Now, as the boundaries between media and telecom operators become ever more blurred, these and other vital sections of society have reached a new and durable prominence. One of the main implications of our involvement in a globalized ICT market is that global competitiveness becomes more immediate and ever more challenging. For Jordan, our drive to become a knowledge economy requires constant vigilance and vigor. According to the Global Competitiveness Report for 2010-2011, the Kingdom ranked 62 out of 139 states in terms of ICT competitiveness. This is indeed an honourable placing, but on the school report card, we might add, could do better. Indeed, Arabic is estimated to be the fastest growing language on the internet. The Arab Knowledge Report has estimated that Arabic-speaking internet users increased by an astounding 2,064% between 2000 and 2008. For the first time in generations, our language is an asset for growing ICT businesses. Online Arabic content is expected to grow dramatically in the coming years as more than 320 million Arab speakers demand a lot more than the 1% of global online content that is currently provided in Arabic. I'm delighted to say that Jordan is the top contributor of Arabic online content, with over 75% of the region's Arabic content originating in the Kingdom.
We've been discussing a lot about over-the-top players and content and ISPs and telecom providers and the relationship between all of them and who should pay who what. We have two people here who will be arguing for, which is Santugo, who is a partner at Value Partners, and Majid Qasim, who is the managing director of D1G. And arguing against will be Jeremy Foster, the head of marketing, government and industry relations at Ericsson, who you are familiar with, and Khalid Al-Hudhud, director of government and regulatory affairs at Omnia. Over-the-top players like Facebook, Google, YouTube, Hulu should not have to pay more than their own access to the internet to deliver their services. Operators sell internet access to consumers, and they can use that bandwidth whichever way they like. Net neutrality, in quotes, is how the internet should remain. Removing it is a ploy to allow telcos to share in the success of the OTT players.
Let me give a short point of view on the issue. The issue is that there is increasing traffic in the internet, particularly on the video side. And you may have read the projection from companies like Cisco saying that in 2014, 91% of the traffic will be video. There's so much traffic that it will take 2 years to just watch the video produced in 1 second. So the numbers are amazing. So, and already today, video is already the majority of the traffic. At the same time, many players in the industry, starting from the operators, complaining on 2 aspects of this traffic. One, we are not making enough revenues out of this traffic, and second, we still need to pay for the expenses of building the network. My main point that I will try to summarize into 5 minutes is that this is not an issue today. It may be an issue in 5 years, in 10 years, but not a real issue today, for a few reasons. Internet needs to stay open. The other main point is that there is a real large number of OTTPs in the market, over-the-top players. So even if everyone is talking about Google and YouTube, Facebook, and whatever, still there are millions or smaller internet providers that we need to think about that. Are we also asking them that they are going to put money to subsidize infrastructure investment? The other point I want to make is that if you look carefully, the famous YouTube, and we should have asked this question of Google, that is challenging with this traffic, the network all over the world, is actually making very, very little revenues today. If you look at the numbers of YouTube and Hulu, the revenues they made in 2010, although not official, are about a few $100 million. The same for Hulu. Forget the revenues of Google, which are for search engine, which is a completely different story. But the revenues generated for all this content being delivered all over the world are extremely low today.
Will be Mr. Jeremy Foster speaking against the moot. Jeremy?
What do we really hear about? We hear about investment. We hear about investing in a technology and a solution and a future for all of us. The current squeeze that we're all feeling is evidence that mankind is overfishing and overlogging and clogging up this vital resource. Managing this resource carefully in a sustainable way is the only option to continue adding value to us for the foreseeable future. Anarchy is not it.
Our next discussant will be Mr. Majid Qasim, who will be speaking for the moot.
I would like to start by something Jay mentioned, which is free. I think the fact of the matter is nobody is streaming for free. If you look at YouTube, for example, YouTube is paying more than $400 million to stream their data each year, and the number is growing. The consumer accessing YouTube is also paying money for the ISP. So effectively, there is no free transaction at this point. The consumer is paying to access the internet and stream YouTube. YouTube is paying to stream data. So data is being paid for. I think the question and the challenge here when it's charged the people for accessing Facebook or charging Facebook to actually stream data to your mobiles. It's really a very different way of asking people to pay twice for the same service. As a consumer, I've already paid an ISP to access the internet at the pre-agreed price. To ask me and charge me again to access certain sites is double dipping. In addition, as I'm going to use my company, D1G, which is we stream around 1,000 terabytes to this region each month, we're already paying premium for the hosting provider. So certain providers actually run and pay a lot of money to other ISPs for the traffic to get here faster.
Okay, our next speaker, Mr. Khalid Hudhud, against the moot.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to start by congratulating Apple, which as of Friday, this last Friday on the 3rd of June, reached a market capitalization that exceeded the market capitalization of Microsoft and Intel combined. They did this in maybe 5 years. It shows that our sector is still running at lightning speed, and things can change in 5 years, make a very big difference. My point today is bandwidth consumption is the driver for costs on the networks. And I'm mainly concerned about the networks of the future, so it's the mobile broadband networks. All right. First, I'm going to wrap up by saying that it is a problem now. Tel Labs has done a forecast of when the network operators will face zero profitability because of this problem in the business model, where the costs are increasing while the revenues are not keeping up, and where the cost of transferring a gigabyte of traffic on the network is not going down as fast as the consumption is going up. And they found that in 3 years, we're going to have a problem in the advanced economies, and of course we will follow. So it's not a problem for the future.
Just to take you back the last 120 seconds of our time, you know, what are we really promoting? We're actually promoting investment, investing in all of our future. We're also promoting competition. We're not saying that we should have no competition, but we're promoting sustainable competition. We're promoting innovation. And if you'd sum all of those up, we're promoting sustainability. We're not saying that telecom operators should suddenly control everything. We're just saying that control should be applied in order to deliver the sustainable growth for this very vital and natural resource.
The way we want, I think we should define our team. The in favor is really in favor of internet. It's in favor of free internet. It's in favor of the development of internet. We agree that traffic can become a problem. We agree that investments are required. We are just saying that that should be addressed in the proper way and from the proper authority. It should be the government, regulators, first of all, that have the authority in each country, first of all, to make sure that investments are developed for broadband in the same way as the same government get license fees.
Question here about the load that the current usage of the internet is putting on telcos. There is unparalleled load. The demand for bandwidth is phenomenal, and investment is needed, and the telcos need to invest to make it happen. That is not a question here. The question is, how do we solve that problem? How do we ensure we have a neutral access, free access to the internet, without limiting the user's freedom of what to access, how to access, and when to access it?
I would actually ask you now to not vote for what you believed in prior to this debate, but actually what you believe, who you believe won this debate just by the arguments that have taken place in the last hour. Please go ahead and vote who won this debate. The negative, affirmative.